Name is Tanveer Mohammed Masood, and today I'm going to speak on another very important, very interesting topic. It's basically about the importance and significance of the month of Ramadan, or we call it Ramzan in Urdu. Now, basically, the month of Ramzan or Ramadan, as it is popularly called in English, is the 30 or 39 days of fasting, which is compulsory on every Muslim, be it a woman or man, boy or girl, who is quite strong enough and physically and mentally strong enough to fast from sunrise to sunset. It basically marks the month wherein Muslims all over the world stay or rather abstain from food, water, or any sort of consumption of food-related items and during this 30 days. Not only this, Muslims during this month are supposed to abstain from all sorts of acts of evil or devilish in nature, from all sorts of acts which are considered to be coaxing and persuading towards devilish acts. Moreover, Muslims in this month are supposed to abstain from sexual activity. Muslims who are basically married, they are basically supposed to abstain from sexual activity, as well as making sure that they follow all the necessary activities that are basically part of this month. For example, making sure that fast is broken during the exact timing when this fast has to be broken, for which is called the start time. Now, popularly, the efforts should be made that all the people who are fasting, who are basically rosadars, they should always make sure that they break their fast on time, and dilly-dallying or delaying the timing or trying to delay intentionally at times, it's considered to be a very undesirable act, and it's not quite desirable in the eyes of rather as per certain hadiths. After breaking the fast or after having their iftar food, basically they are required, the Muslims are required to offer the Maghrib prayers. And after that, there is one Tarawih prayer, we call it, that is about consisting of 18 rakats and namaz that is required to be offered, though it is not quite mandatory or compulsory on every Muslim, but it is quite desirable that Muslims should or rather can offer this namaz, this Tarawih prayer, because it's often considered as an act of sunnah of Rasulullah ﷺ, and it's basically very desirable that if a person has no work to do, is quite free enough, he should always make sure that this Tarawih prayer should be offered in the mosque. And apart from that, efforts should always be made that all the fasters or all the people who are basically observing fast should have their basic food or basic meal during before the first prayer. We call it Sehri time, and it's basically the time wherein people get up to have a little light meal before the sun rises, and the day or the timing of fast starts till the sunset, because from sunrise to sunset, Muslims or people who are basically fasting are not supposed to eat anything or drink anything, or drink even a cup or sip of water. It's quite prohibited and strictly prohibited. And apart from that, there are other ingredients and other things which needs to be adhered to make sure that a fast or a rosa is completed in a very proper way in all the necessary parameters are followed in observing that rosa or fast. Apart from making sure that nothing is eaten, Rosidas should always ensure that they don't utter anything nonsense while they are observing fast. They shouldn't try and abuse each other or get into any sort of quarrel or any sort of dispute or fight with any person, be he a Rosidar or non-Rosidar, because this is quite undesirable, an act of great disrespect towards this um, holy month of Ramadan, as well as towards the concept of fasting and rosa itself. What actually Ramadan is intended to do with we Muslims is to bring in a sense of discipline and culture, a sense of piousness and sacredness within us should be brought in, because what exactly happens is that when a person abstains from food and water and always make sure that he's adhering to all the necessary parameters that has been laid down for a successful Ramzan and successful Rosa, he becomes upgraded. He becomes quite spiritually, physically, and mentally. He's quite upgraded, and this gives him an extra edge on people who are not basically fasting, because what it does to our mind, our body, is that it brings in a sense of discipline into our to ourselves, and it instills in ourselves that basic ingredient that is required to lead life which is full of spiritual sanctity and piousness. The end of the month of Ramadan is often marked by a new day, a day which marks the beginning of, or rather the end of the month of Ramadan. We call it Eid al-Fitr. Eid al-Fitr is basically a gift to all the Muslims who have fasted in this holy month of Ramadan, and they are basically gifted on behalf of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the hardship, for all the efforts, for all the extra and additional pressure, efforts that they have put in during this month of Ramadan. They have abstained from all sorts of devilish acts, and they have basically instilled themselves a sense of discipline and culture that is so very required to adhere to the sanctity or the parameters that has been laid on in this holy month of Ramadan. The last 10 days of this holy month is very crucial